Previously on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
You went to New York because you wanted to do this for you. You wanted to live out your dream. Where was life for you during 9/11?
As I'm reading the paper of the Financial Times, and all of a sudden, I feel something just hit my building. I'm on the 46th floor. I feel this earthquake. And I was like, just get to the ground, even if you have to die trying. This invisible stench hits me and it starts singeing my nose hairs. And then I'm like I can barely breathe. I knew the smell of fire. I know how something smells like when it's burning. It was not wood.
Welcome back, everybody, to Embracing the Journey podcast.
I was like, okay, something hit the building. There's an earthquake. And now there's a fire. And there's no announcement. There's no fire alarm. Nothing. I'm on the 46th floor. And
in work nationwide typically starts at 8 or 9 a.m. So there's other people in this building, but yet no alarm, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Wow.
And so I am like, I really got to get out of here because I got 3 things now that are at me. 3 things that are at me. And I was like, I was like, I got to book out of here. I was like, so I put my hand, there was 16 steps. Where I was, there were 16 steps and there was a landing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I got to get there as fast as I can. So I put my left hand on the railing and I step with my left and then I step with my right. And then my whole body would leap to that landing. And then I just did it again. So I was only taking 2 steps.
Of 16.
Down
47 stories.
46.
46 stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I kept doing that. And so it was step, and then jump. And my whole body would land. And then, and even I had to there's a part of the railing where it turns like this. And I was that was a part that was keeping me from falling back on the landing because I was going so fast.
Is the building still swaying or is it sturdy now?
I don't remember if it was swaying or not. I feel like it was sturdy. At least in the stairwell, I felt like it was sturdy. It wasn't moving the way it was in the hallway, Thank goodness.
And we still haven't bumped into anybody?
No, not until the 33rd floor.
Wow. And
then there were people. And then I was like, okay, come on, let's go. Because the people were lined up on the right side of the stairwell. And then in the inner left side, no one was coming. And then I was like, what are you guys waiting for? Let's go. And they're like, no, firefighters. I was like, what? Why are firefighters coming up? We're not even out of the building. Why are they coming up? And so...
and at this point, you know nothing. You just think there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then a few come up and I was like, I couldn't believe the way everyone was just waiting. Nonchalant, lots of space on the right side. It's I was like, everyone squeezes into a subway like a bunch of sardines to get to work on time. And then now when all this is happening, everyone's like, oh, it's okay. I was losing it. I was like, we got to go. We got to get out of here. So many things, right? I had seen this hysterical lady. And then behind her, there was this other lady who was crouched down and she had this green moss on her head. La pobrecita, that poor woman, she was burned. Her bra straps were burned. She was naked. It wasn't until she passed that I realized they had tied sweaters on her, around her body. And the guy who used to pick up the trash and it was helping the 2 ladies. I was like, oh my God, so there is a fire because she don't got clothes on and she has, you could even see some of her skin was burned. And I was like, what? So then there was another guy in the facilities who had a two-way pager, and there he was like, okay, a plane hit. We're like, what? A plane? Right? Like we were like, what? And then we kept going down, and I was still like, why? I was like, with this, the firefighter was coming up, and I was like, why are you guys coming up here? Like everyone is not out of the building. And this one firefighter in particular, he had like these beautiful icy blue eyes, and he was light skinned and like had like a dark eyebrows, like almost black hair, and in his face, I saw acceptance, and it made me cry even more.
Acceptance, as if he's not going to make it out.
Yeah, like here I am, like yelling, like, why are you guys coming up? Like, why are you coming? Because I felt like it was prohibiting us from leaving, because no one was willing to go in the middle part to get out. Everyone was on the side. And so I was like, it's taking us too long to get out and these were like smaller groups of firefighters, like 2 or 3 at a time would come up, right? And then there'd be a long, long space, and then another group would come up. And so I was very surprised to see that from him. And I always say our firefighters were ascending their stairway to heaven. But I started going in the middle behind them. And this one lady was like, hey, stay in line. And I was like, I got too much to live for. I need to get to the ground. And she was like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, right now, I am not going to be focused on being polite. And I remember at one point she had stopped and gotten in my way. And she's like,
is this a random lady or a firefighter?
This is a random lady who was waiting in line
to be saved,
I guess. I don't know what she was waiting for. And then I was like, I will go wherever the I want to go.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Soft, chewy, sour. The gummy experience that you've been searching for. New from Sour Punch.
Like, I remember like just saying that very clearly to her, and she moved out, and I just kept going because I guess for me, I felt the building, I felt something fall. There's a fire, and I'm like, okay, if you guys want to wait, I just was like, I have too much to live for. Like, I had just moved to the city. It's only a few years. Like, I was like, and I was just afraid. I was so afraid. So I end up step jumping down 46 flights of the One World Trade Center on September 11th.
Wow. When you were talking, I was getting like these really, really vivid images of what that could have been like. Seeing a line of people 33 flights up, waiting, and then seeing firefighters come up in flocks of 2. And then, were you the only person pushing through, or were there other people?
I was the only one.
So not only are you scared, not only are you fighting other people that are essentially telling you we're taking turns, but you're alone doing this. You're by yourself trying to make it so you can live another day. My godmom lived in New York during 9/11. And I remember I was sitting in computer class. I was in middle school. And I remember my mom called my godmom. Are you okay? Are you okay? My godmom knew nothing of what was going on. Nothing. Like, turn the news on, turn the news on. So she turns the TV on. 2 planes had hit the towers. I see you're crying. What's going on?
No, I'm just taking it all in.
What are you feeling right now?
Just maybe, yeah.
Maybe what?
I don't know. Maybe more should have followed me. Maybe. But I know how it is when you're afraid.
Yeah.
And sometimes it stops people.
Right.
Yeah, it stops people. And I just wanted to get to the ground. I said, as long as I can get to the ground, and I'll come right back up to work.
Yeah.
You know, that was how I could like cope and also rationalize me going down there.
Can I ask you a really personal question? Yeah. Do you feel guilty for still being alive right now?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. I mean, life is, it was crippling afterwards.
I can identify that word and what that means, but what does that mean to you?
It's like, one, realizing that I'm still in this realm. I can still move. My fingers, everything is here. This energetic being is still in this realm. It almost takes death to actually realize how alive we really are.
Wow.
And I think people have a closer sense of that now with COVID, right? Because that was like a moment where you had to face your mortality every day and every moment. Like, am I going to go here, possibly get sick, possibly die? So I feel like people understand that more. And I think that there's more people that have survivor's guilt now, especially who lost loved ones from COVID. But that time for me, or what it meant for me, is it was tough because I'd go into a cycle of, okay, have to wash the dishes, or I have to do these menial tasks, right? And then it's like, but life is so monumental. Like, what am I doing today? How am I making it count?
Yeah.
And other people can't choose to make their life count anymore because they're not here.
Right.
And I wish other people would look at their life that way.
When you were going down those stairs, did you ever in your mind think, this is going to be the last time that I ever see some of these people?
No, I just kept praying that please keep the walls up. I mean, I would look up and say, please God, just keep the building up long enough for us to get out. That was my prayer.
What was it like the closer you got to the ground level? What was that like?
Finally, the alarms started going off under the 20th mark. Then there was one lady, well, there was a gentleman who was running up trying to tell us that there was a open deck on the 10th floor, and if we needed to get air, we should go there and get some air. I was like, there's no way I'm leaving the stairwell to go out to the 10th floor and get some air. But one lady did. And
these are ladies, these are people, all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
All different disabilities, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah, like she had a laptop. I mean, I'd say now, I call her lady, but I'd say now she was non-binary, right? Like now that there's that word and I'm aware of it now. And yeah, so they went to the 10th floor. Everyone else stayed. By the 10th floor, the sprinklers were working. So there was all this water. So we all got drenched. And then when we got to the bottom floor, the lights were out. Everything had fallen.
Wow.
All the decorations, everything was fallen. And there was all this water, like 3 inches of water. And so I'm drenched, I'm crying, and then I'm treading through all this water. And there were some women that couldn't really walk because they decided to wear heels. And so it was tough. And there was a mall underneath both of the Twin Towers. So they guided us through that. And I got out of at a Border Books, and it was Cortlandt Street. And I remember this first responder being like, cross the street and clear the area. And like, when she said that, I crossed the street and then I turned around and then I saw the fire coming from both sides of the building, like coming out of both sides of the building. I was like, I just came out of that building.
And did you know what had happened yet?
No. I mean, inside the stairwell, this like really skinny, slender Puerto Rican guy who worked for the facilities, he had a 2-way pager. So he did end up saying again, oh, another plane hit. And when he did that, it was like fear just set in. It was silent in that. We were all there and it was silent.
Next week on the Embracing the Journey podcast.
We turn around and we see only one tower standing. We're like, there's no way all those people got out.
Right.
There's no way.
What was life after 9/11?
Even though we know it as September 11th, we were in a state of war. It wasn't just one day of war.
With these mass amount of donations coming in from different parts of the world, did that help you guys?
Not me. They said, we need a letter from a therapist saying you have PTSD for Salvation Army to help you.
Freeze real quick. Did they know that you were in the building?
Yes.
And they needed you to have proof that this traumatic event that recently had taken place caused PTSD for you to get aid.
Yeah.